Hey everybody, it's Pokey. It's been a hot minute, of course. Lots have been going on this past month. I'm still a little under the weather because I just got my booster shot 2 days ago. So, well, now 3 days ago because it's just past midnight. But I'm not going to have any time for a video in the next week or two before the new year. But yeah, a lot's happened. Had to get a new HVAC system and a new water heater. So now I am almost $10,000 in debt. Yay! Um, oh, and 2 days before Christmas, someone stole my card information. Yep, paid like $72 and $103 for DoorDash of all things. Like, if you're gonna steal money from me, at least put it towards something worthwhile. But DoorDash is a scam all on its own. So I was pissed in general that someone stole from me because it was all the way in San Francisco. And I'm just like, I'm not in San Francisco. So immediately, as soon as I got the alert, talked to my bank and they're like, yeah, so what's with these crazy purchases in a place where you don't live? And I'm like, I don't know, but I definitely would not have used money on DoorDash, that's for sure. So, yeah. Um Anyway, so unfortunately, because it did post to my account, I have to file to get reimbursed because, well, if it didn't post, then that money would have gone back to me, but unfortunately it did. So, I mean, I canceled the card immediately. I got the alert like pretty much minutes after they made those purchases, but yeah, it's not okay. Um I now have access again to my account. However, the new card has not come in, obviously, because Christmas and also weekend. So, waiting for that new card and a little worried and scared because some of my purchases, they only take card information, not bank information. It's very frustrating when stuff like this happens. And I mean, I could write a check. I do have a checkbook, but still, it's very frustrating because it's easier if you can just do things online. That's not always the case. And yes, I do have like a PayPal, so I could try that way. Um, if they accepted PayPal for some of my bills, which they don't. So lots of fun. Anyway, so there's that. Uh Very scarce this year as far as Christmas. Because this month has just been a whirlwind. I mean, because I can't pay with card. And they don't take personal checks at the daycare, and I don't have the funds in my account anyway now that someone's stolen funds that would cover. I can't have Connor in daycare, and Alan's already home during winter break, so I've got both kids stuck at home with me. Yay. If one of them is at home with me, it's fine. Like, they can occupy their time, no problem. But when they're together, deep breaths, deep breaths. Woosa. Like it's like instead of one chaos child, I have two. And it's just oh yeah, it's been a nightmare this past week because unfortunately, Connor got in contact. He was in contact with another kid who tested positive for COVID, so he had to be sent home. And we could have done a COVID test, and then he could have returned next week. However, the people stole from me right before, like literally the night before I was supposed to go get him COVID test. But through my new insurance now, I do copays. So I didn't have any money to do a copay, and I definitely don't have money for him to be in daycare. So he's just stuck at home. That's fun. So, um, and then of course the booster shot, and then me feeling under the weather for like a day and a half. We didn't really decorate the tree. I put the tree up, but we didn't decorate it. I will try to. I always keep the tree up, the Christmas tree up, at least until Connor's birthday at the end of January. So plenty of time to still, you know, decorate if we want to. But I'm just tired. I'm just so tired. Um, okay, enough of the bad news. I at least wanted to show off a few things. Um, I got this new blanket that has like polar bears on it and it's super soft. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, you guys. It was like $5 or something at Walmart and it is super, super soft. Like I've washed it and everything and it's just so soft. Oh my gosh. And it's polar bears. I love polar bears. Um, and then I got myself some new Christmas pajamas. Now I'm not going to show you the pants because I don't want to get up. But be cool. It's a cute little penguin. Mostly I got it because it's blue. I mean, I like penguins and everything, but blue, favorite color. If you don't know that by now, I mean. Um anyway, and then every year, I made this tradition a couple years back, but every year I will take the boys to a Books a Million or a Barnes Noble, whichever one is closest. Um, and I will bring a bag with me and I will be like, all right, I will take you to a section that I want you to pick something out for me. I like this section. Like last year was Star Wars themed. Um, I mean, I got this cute bag. It is the way. Grogu is so cute. He's so adorable. Him in the little book. Oh, it's so cute. Anyway, so last year was in the Star Wars section. And I got that bag. And basically I just like hold out the bag and I don't look and I say, okay, pick something and put it in there. Try not to be too big. This year I decided to go to the graphic novel section and comic section. And they both picked something. And it's funny because Connor didn't understand the concept of do not tell mommy what you're getting her because it's supposed to be a surprise for Christmas. Like I'll pay for it, just like I'll put it in the bag and I'll like hand it to the cashier and say, okay, they picked these out mysteriously, so I'm gonna look away while you scan this, and then please put it back in the bag. Um, Now, I mean, they put the gift receipt in, but I threw it away because these kids would notice if I tried to return it. And I'll tell you why in a minute. Um, but I honestly, I do like what they got me. It's just one of them I'm kind of like, okay. Anyway, Connor started trying to tell me right in the middle of the store, like, but mommy, I got you. And he mentioned Iron Man. And I thought, okay, well, I love Marvel, so great. I'm just like, you're not supposed to tell mommy. He got so mad. He was like stomping his foot, like, mommy, I'm trying to tell you something. I'm just like, but you're not supposed to tell me that. There's like a bunch of people around like chuckling, like, oh my gosh, he's so cute. I mean, he's like almost 4, but he looks like he's like 5.5. Like he's so tall. He's like 40 inches tall and he's like 30 something pounds. Like he's just, oh, okay. Anyway, he was kind of off the mark. It wasn't Iron Man at all. His pick for me was Superman New 52. Like, I do love Superman. I do. Like, I actually, like, I liked watching Christopher Reeve's Superman growing up, and that was my dad's favorite too. And I mean, I love a lot of the Supermans that have, a lot of people who played Superman over the years, but Christopher Reeves will always be my Superman. I think he'll always be everyone's Superman. I think that's just a given. But anyway, the reason why I was like, oh, New 52. Like, I love the art and for the most part a lot of the stories, but continuity wise, and I'm not talking about continuity to old comics or old like graphic novels. I'm talking about continuity within New 52. It's not always, it jumps a lot. It's all over the place, guys. That's been my experience. Now I haven't read every single New 52, okay? Like I haven't, but I started with New 52 with Batman stuff and Nightwing and like I was getting into, because I had the Killing Joke and I was reading that and I was reading some other stuff and I'm like, oh, New 52, okay. And so I started reading some New 52 And I was like, I'm not as happy with this as I thought I would be. I'll still read it. I will. Because Connor made a big deal out of it. And I am curious. I do think it's funny though that literally on the front it says Wall Street Journal's Speakeasy blog. And I'm like, oh yay, a blog that says Superman is still super. And I'm like, yeah, yeah, he is still super. I mean, it's kind of in the title, right? He didn't do a name change, right? Still Superman. So, yeah. That got to me. Anyway, so that's yeah, that's kind of how I feel about that one. Um and then Alan chose Marvel vs. Black Panther, and I was like, "Oh, cool." And I liked it anyway because I was like, "Okay, Marvel." Right? I think Connor saw the inside cover which says Marvel vs. Iron Man. And so I think that's what he meant by Iron Man. Like I think he was trying to tattle on Brother and try to say like Brother picked, and he saw Iron Man in the cover. But it's like old school. It's like old school comic. Like it's old school comic style, and I really like that. I like that. I mean, most of the old school comics that I read were some of the ones from my Uncle Jeff. Because I mean, he was like the king of comics, like comic collections and, excuse me, signed comics. Okay. Like he was like, there was literally a joke and he turned it into a t-shirt. I have the t-shirt somewhere, but he literally made t-shirts where he had this like almost zombie hand coming up with like a pen in the middle, like of the fingers, and underneath it's like in horror like text is New Miller, because as soon as a lot of his favorite writers and artists were at conventions, he'd have this big stack, sometimes a crate of comics to be signed, and they recognized my uncle and they're just like, no, I don't want you to come over here. I don't want to sign all those copies. Stop it. Like, stop it right now. So he turned it into a, like they'd be like, no, Miller. And he turned it into a t-shirt. And so like, he was like the king of comics, right? And so sometimes I would sneak a peek at some of the comics that he had. And I'm not kidding. He had like cabinets and shelves. Like think, okay, not obviously to this extent, but think like as a kid you're walking into this downstairs living room dining like den area, and it's like walking into like freaking Raiders of the Lost Ark like warehouse of comic books, like crates and like these big carton like filing like boxes full of comics, like a comic book store basically. Like it's just, like you're walking, you're seeing like row upon row upon row of these stacks of like shelves and like boxes lining full of comics. Like that was my Uncle Jeff. Okay, so I'm not joking. Actually, I'm really not. Like it's not Raiders of the Lost Ark sized, but it's huge. Okay, it was big. Okay, so like I was introduced to comics early, and my dad really liked reading the Spider-Man comics that sometimes we got for free with the Sunday paper. So like this was in like the 90s, like the early to mid 90s. So like I would read those too. So I do like that style. I especially liked reading like X-Men, Spider-Man, sometimes some Avengers, and what else shoot, well, some of the Superman stuff. um oh, eventually I got into Deadpool. So I mean Deadpool's still my favorite. He's still my favorite. But yeah, I was really excited that Alan picked that out, and I like the this comic style, so I'm definitely gonna enjoy that. Um, I spoil myself with one of those mystery wand, like the Harry Potter mystery wand. So I got the Patronus one, And my mystery one is, dun dun dun, Ron Weasley. I mean, that's not bad. It's a puppy. I think it would have been nice if I were Cho Chang because, well, Ravenclaw. So, I mean, it would have been nice to get Ravenclaw, but that's okay. This isn't a bad wand. I really should get one of those, like, custom-made wands. Because I did do, like, one of those thingies on, like, whatchamacallit website. I'm trying to remember what it's called. I did that forever ago to do, like, find out what house I am. I think even if I didn't take a test, it'd be pretty obvious that I'm Ravenclaw, so if for nothing else, the color, because I love blue. Speaking of blue, so we did like a toy drive recently. Well, we went to a toy drive recently, because Alan got one of those flyers with they put his name on it. And I didn't think they were going to, but they got one for Connor as well. So boys age, whatever. They accidentally put Connor as a girl because he has those really long lashes. And yeah, he's got like short hair and everything, but he's got like super long, gorgeous lashes. And he's got like that gorgeous androgynous type of face. Like he could be a boy or a girl. Like he's just gorgeous, you know? And so they thought he was a girl at first. So they got like boy age 8, but then they said girl age 4. And there was like, and there's for the girls. Like, oh no, he's not a girl. He's a boy. And they're like, what? Oh no. Like they seemed so horrified, but I was like, no, it's okay. Like, I mean, he's a boy, but like he's gorgeous. So I can totally understand. Like Connor's been mistaken for a girl so often. So was Alan as when you think sometimes Alan still is confused for a girl because he's got the lashes that people would die for. That I definitely wish I didn't have to use mascara if I wanted to like show my lashes. I mean, I have lashes. It's just they're light enough to where you can't see them very well. Yeah, you can't really see them very well. But yeah, so so that was kind of adorable. He got a lot of good gifts though. He got some Lego Star Wars, like Mandalorian Star or like Lego, so that was pretty cool. He got some spirograph stuff. Like I love that as a kid. So I got him one of those and he lost all the pieces right away and I was so frustrated because I'm still finding one or two pieces and they're like broken, so we can't use them again. But this one came in like its own little tin. So I'm a little hopeful that he might only lose some instead of all of them. So yeah, so he got that. Connor got like a little Nerf gun thing and like a little football with a kickstand. And he's just like, Mommy, what's this? Is this a ship? And I was like, no, that's a football with a kickstand. We're not a sports family, okay? I don't watch sports. I haven't really played sports in a long time. Anytime I played sports, it was like in gym. So, yeah. I did ask Alan once, like, do you want to do any sports? Like when they start opening up sports again? You know, I mean, due to COVID, nothing right now. But he's just like, I don't know, something with running. I was like, do you want football? And he's like, no. And I was like, why don't you want football? And he was just like, because you get knocked over a lot. I don't want to get knocked over. I was like, okay, that's a legit reason. I can understand that. Um, so okay, no football for you. And Connor's never really played any kind of sports. He just likes to run around and he likes to kick things. So I mean, I can see them both getting into soccer. Alan might want to get into like track and field or something like that because he just likes to run. He just loves running. I mean, in general. He's said before that he might consider soccer because he likes to kick things, but he mostly just likes to run a lot. So I'm like, I can see you doing like track and field. I can see you doing that. I thought about getting track and field in high school. Actually, I thought about it. I thought about doing field hockey too, but that didn't. They thought I had asthma when I couldn't make tryouts, but actually I had pneumonia. And I couldn't do a redo on the tryouts. Like they weren't doing redos or anything like that. I mean, obviously, but it sucked because I was really looking forward to it. I really wanted to do sports. And then they were like, oh, you must have asthma. No, actually, I went to the doctor and it wasn't asthma. I didn't have asthma. I had pneumonia. I got really sick. Like it was a very sudden onset. Like I'd had a cold for a while and it got bad. I had some coughing and at first we're like, oh, bronchitis, but it took a turn for the worse and I got really sick and I was sick like for most of the week after. So, but I told Alan about that and he's just like, yeah, no, I don't want to do like hockey or anything. I don't want to do any kind of sport like that. I just want to run. I was like, like I like sprinting and hurdles actually. I liked hurdles. So anyway, sorry, you know me, I get distracted easily. But anyway, so Alan got some, what else did he get? He got like a Rubik's Cube and I was like, I got him a Rubik's Cube. So now we have 2 Rubik's Cubes. Yay! So now I can just take one for myself and just play around with it. I had one as a kid and I beat it like after a few weeks. It was like 3 weeks, I think. I was 7. Okay? 7.5. It was close to a month. It was really annoying. Like really annoying. Like I did those like 3D puzzles with my mom all the time. I did like 3D puzzles and I like to create things with like Legos and blocks and stuff. And I was like, freaking Rubik's Cube got me for almost a month, okay? It was very frustrating. Very frustrating. Anyway, hopefully I'll do better this time around. I'm better at seeing patterns now. Anyway, another thing that Alan got in his little like toy drive Santa thing was dye. Gaming dye. He's just like, ooh, what's this? And he likes it because look at the blue shiny. That's, here, I'll open it. Kind of. I'm trying. I want to bring one of them out. Ah, if I can get it out now. Holy cow, this is harder than I thought. Okay. Kind of an iridescent. Can you see that? I don't know if you can see that very well. There we go. There we go. I had to focus. But yeah, so he got that, and I was just like, oh, we're doomed. I'm doing this like sob cry kind of laugh. Like and Alan and Connor start laughing. They don't know why they're laughing. They just think whatever it is, it's funny. And I'm like, you don't even know why you're laughing, but we're doomed. Because even though Alan doesn't know what it is exactly or how he would use it, he thinks it's fun to find things out. So I can see him kind of exploring into that. I mean, they do like educational Minecraft on his school laptop. He's gotten really good at that. I mean, he can't read yet. He still struggles with reading. He's still got his issues due to ADHD and some other stuff going on. So I mean, we're still struggling with reading, but he doesn't have to like read half of the stuff that's on there to understand what it does in the game. So he's gotten pretty good at that. He still can't read or understand the specs on like the Pokemon cards because he loves collecting Pokemon cards. But he looks at the Pokemon, he kind of sees like he watches Pokemon too. So I mean, like I can see once he's able to kind of read more proficiently, I can see him really diving into stuff. I mean, we still have like 3 bookcases full of books just for the boys. That's just for the boys. I don't have anywhere near my collection, my physical book collection that I used to have. I mean, getting out of the Navy, I had to get rid of a lot of stuff. So I took all the books with me, almost all the books with me. And I donated over 400 books to the Escondido Library when I went back home after getting out of the Navy. Over 400 books. Okay. 400. That's a lot. That's a lot of books. Okay. Okay, maybe not. Okay, around 400. I think maybe I had a few that they couldn't use. So maybe it's closer to 400 instead of like 405. But still. Yeah. That's a lot of books, okay? Graphic novels, comics, books is a lot, okay? That was just my collection. So I definitely gotten rid of a lot. But now the boys have a lot. So I can see him getting into all that stuff and learning a lot of stuff. I personally couldn't really get into a lot of the gaming thing, mostly because I just can't sit still through it. It's the reason why it's so difficult for me to read certain books or certain series that are written a certain way, because it's just it's the way that the pacing. I don't like. I really do like fantasy and epic fantasy stuff. But I couldn't get into the Wheel of Time series because of the way it was written. It's super descriptive. And it's a lot. Like, I have to have a little bit more movement than that. I'm appreciative of the description. Like, I'm appreciative of, how much went into that. But it's not my pace. It's a bit too glacial. I had to really push myself through a couple other books that were written way long time ago, much further back than Wheel of Time, such as Lord of the Rings. And I couldn't even finish the Fellowship of the Ring. I don't know why. I just, at some point, I was just like, I can't do this. I can't. I'm going to try again. But at the time that I tried, I was in high school, and I just like, I can't do this. I've read The Hobbit, though, like 3 times. For some reason, I can read The Hobbit, but I can't read The Fellowship of the Ring. It's very frustrating for me because I really like that kind of story. I really like a lot of that stuff. I mean, like, I love mythology and folklore, and I love fantasy, like, a lot. Super a lot. So, like, it's frustrating. But gaming too, like, I've tried WoW. I could not do it. I could not do it. I tried it. I could not do it. I've tried Magic. I've tried D&D. I've tried a couple others that I can't even remember the name of, but I've tried. I even went along with friends who were LARPing, and it was just not my thing. Like, I love cosplay, but I can't do the LARPing thing. If you do, that's great. That's great. Like, I'm not trying to go down, like, trying to, like, be all Debbie Downer on it, or say it's I don't like it or whatever. Like, I don't like it when people say, like, I don't like that, and they think that something shouldn't exist just because they don't like it. Like, I'm not like that. Like, it's just not my kind of thing. But I can see Alan getting into this kind of thing. I can see him trying it. Now, he can't sit still for very long. I can't. I mean, like, I think if the pace is decent enough, I can sit still for a long period of time. I mean, in the military, I kind of had to sit still for long periods of time, whether I liked it or not. But for fun stuff, for things that I actually enjoy, that it's difficult if it's something like, I don't mind some of the adventure stuff, but then there's that long lull period in between each quest or each. I can't do it. I mean, I think because it's so fast paced in some areas, that's why I didn't mind Lara Croft Tomb Raider games, or the dungeon maze tournament stuff for like Soul Calibur or Tekken, like where you have to beat all the characters with all the characters, that sort of thing, or you have to go to certain levels. Soul Calibur 2, I think it was 2 or 3. I got to like over level 100 in like the little underground maze thing where you have to kind of navigate with a torch. You have to memorize a path and all that. Brings me back to a PC game that I played where you're a wizard in a castle and you have to go through you have to memorize a path. You have to go through and answer quizzes. I don't remember the name of it though. I really like that one. But it's like, but you could take your time with that and come back to it versus, I mean, like, technically you could as well with a campaign. But I'm not very good at finishing what I start on certain projects, and I'm not always available. Like, I can't do it consistently. I think that's what it is. I can't do it consistently, especially if there's those lull periods. But I can see Alan getting into some of this stuff if he can find a way to focus and keep, keep a state, like if it's something that he can anticipate and look forward to, something that he can kind of, work with a team or with people. I can see him doing that. So I kind of already see myself kind of diving into that again, but this time because of my kiddo. So maybe a little bit different perspective if that's the case. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, I definitely wanted to share that. That's kind of my Christmas. The boys were really kind of blah for Christmas. They didn't really want to do too much. They weren't feeling well. Oh, sorry. Towards the end of it, there's my customary yawn in a video. I tried to get them to watch Christmas things, but they mostly were not watching Christmas things. There's some Disney Plus, like Mickey and Minnie Christmas things, or Twice Upon a Christmas, or something like that. Like there was those like Mickey and Minnie, like Roadster Racers or Mickey Mouse Clubhouse or whatever. My hair is being all weird. So they watched that towards the end of the night, but otherwise they didn't really want to do the Christmas thing. They're just like, we woke up before 7 a.m. and we're bugging mommy and opening presents, and she's doing videos, and then she went back to bed, and now we're just gonna cause chaos and lose pieces to things. So, yeah. So our Christmas was kind of blah, but also kind of just, whatever. And then I tried to text or message as many people as I could, but I've just been kind of blah myself. So I told everyone, I was like, look, if I missed anyone, I'm sorry. Merry Christmas to everyone, blah, blah, blah. It's been pretty crazy. I'm hoping I get my new card before end of next week so I can start paying for some stuff. Because unfortunately, I also have automatic payments set up for certain things. And they only take card and not bank information. So it's very frustrating. Hopefully, even with everything going on, everyone has a decent Christmas, or just decent holiday. I mean, New Year's is around the corner. I haven't really made any resolutions. But I have noticed something that I didn't notice before. So I thought it was interesting. You know that saying, the jack of all trades? Now, people keep cutting it short. And people don't seem to agree with where it originated from as far as like when. Because I've seen things where they're saying like 14th century or 12th century, or it's from William Shakespeare, or is it someone was saying blah 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 in this tale of blah blah blah, and I'm just like, I don't know. But either way, I'm not going to dive too deep on that research to find out. But I was trying to look up the origin, and because I saw all these different, origins, I was just like, I feel like I would just dive too deep, so I'm not going to. But anyway, I think the full quote is supposed to say, "Jack of all trades is a master of none, but oftentimes better than a master of one." And some people have considered it like an insult, like basically like you're too all over the place is better, like you're too all over the place. Like, this is a specialist. But oftentimes it is considered like a compliment that you are adaptable, that you're not like a master of one thing, a specialist of one thing, but you dabble and you're versatile. And I noticed that about myself, actually. The way that I noticed it was my kind of geekdom. My geekdom, as in, like, me being a big geek that I am. I say nerd a lot, but geek, but But I mean, I think it's because, um, I mean, I have my own taste, my own particular, like, style of things, but for the most part, I enjoy versions or variations of things. Um, yeah, I might critique here or there about certain things, like Star Wars, like the newer movies, or the prequels, versus the originals. And by originals, I mean 4, 5, and 6. So if you can't even see that, I don't talk to me. But the originals versus prequels versus the new ones. Um, yeah, I critique a little bit here or there, but honestly, I enjoyed them all. And I enjoy the TV shows. I'm still getting through the Clone Wars though on Disney Plus because that's a lot to catch up on, and I can't do it during work because a lot of times I'll put something on during work that I don't have to really focus on, but I really want to focus on the Clone Wars. Like I do not want to miss that stuff. So I don't really watch it. Like I have those little lull periods where no one's on the phones or anything like that, or I've got a project going on. So I don't have to be on the phones, but I like to have some background thing going on while I'm working, and I can't do a background. Clone Wars has to be, you have to pay attention to it. But anyway, um but I noticed that there are some people who will go full on obsessed crazy fan over something. And I will always look at them like, why? Why are you freaking out so much? Like, why are you getting all crazy? And I realized that I don't, I don't become super obsessed as a fan of anything. I dabble. I dabble as a fan of tons of things. Like I'm into certain sports, so like I don't mind watching baseball. I also like to play it when I was younger. Though I'm not like a big sports fan, I'm not a big sports person. But I don't mind certain sports, right? I'm really into anime. I'm really into cosplaying. I'm really into conventions. I'm really into to manga, to graphic novels, to comics. I'm into like NASA and space and science. I loved Bill Nye as a kid. I'm really into a plethora of genres of books. Love reading, love writing. I love art. I love photography. I love a lot of stuff. I love dancing, even though I definitely can't dance. I've always wanted to learn ballroom actually. Maybe the tango, I'm not sure. Feels like that'd be too much effort, but if I can at least find a way to coordinate for ballroom, I think I've got to start. you know, um, I love singing. I love choir. Like, I mean, I was in choir for like 12 years as a kid, like ages 3 through 15, and then for about a year or so for command choir when I was in the Navy in Hawaii at NIOC. That was I was in the command choir for a while. Um, so I did a lot of retirement and reenlistment ceremonies. I did a few funerals too, unfortunately. So I mean, like I'm into a lot of things. I love puzzles. I love anything that's intelligent and fun. But I also love kid stuff. I love Disney. I love oh my goodness, like I love animals. I definitely like, I especially love horses, cats, and dogs because that's what I've been around most of my life. Like, I love all these little things. I love things that are silver. I'm a silver person. I love blue, but I love rocks and gems and things. I like collecting stuff. I have different collections of different things. I'm sporadic, but I'm all over the place, but I love all these things. I love a lot of different geekdom stuff, Star Wars, Star Trek, Supernatural, like Firefly, like Marvel and DC. It goes on and on. Oh my gosh. Like I love a lot of things. I dabble everywhere. I love cross stitching. That's something that I really enjoy. Like I'm pretty good at darning and mending things too. You can't make outfits for myself, though. That's seems a bit out of my wheelhouse, but like I dabble in a lot of these different things that people could be a master of. I love cooking. I love eating and trying things. I love experimenting with my food and well, within my taste and allergens, because I do have some food allergies, so I have to be careful in that area. Um, I just but I love that kind of stuff. Um, like there's so many things I can go on and on and on, right? But I love all these things, and I'm not like a super specialist about it. I dabble, but I know enough that makes me excited when I experience whatever it is that I'm getting into. Um, but I don't go so hardcore that I forget what it is that I'm enjoying. And I feel like that's what happens sometimes when people become specialists or they become experts about something. Um, I'm talking strictly about fandom. I'm not talking about like a professor or something or whatever. I mean, but then again, it could apply there too, where, if you become a like a professor, an educated person about this particular subject, whatever it is, and you're so entrenched in it that you pretty much forget everything else, um, that can be kind of bad too if you kind of forget like about yourself or about others, like you're not taking care of yourself, things like that. If you're in search of the great whatever, throughout life, and you kind of forget about life itself. Um, but I mean, like, because that can happen pretty much with anyone. I was just using that as an example. But what I mean for fandom is that I feel like sometimes people become super fans or obsessive fans, and they kind of forget what it is that they are enjoying. They forget what it is, what it means. Um like I mean, like I grew up with TOS, like Star Trek TOS and Next Gen, like that's my stuff. I'm still kind of sloughing through a lot of the other Star Treks. Um and I'm it's going to take me a while. And then Doctor Who, I didn't start that actually until I was an adult, but I started at the beginning with William Hartnett, Hartnell, I think. I'm trying to remember his name. My brain is fried. But the first Doctor, like I literally started watching like episodes from the first Doctor on. So then I'm all the way caught up when all my other friends around my age kind of started with the ninth, and I started with the first because that's what I wanted to do. That's why fourth, Tom Baker, is my favorite. Like, I absolutely love Fourth Doctor. Like, I don't know what it is. He is infectious. Like, his energy, his just exuberant nature is just amazing. I love it. And he's so theatrical. Like, I mean, he's like a classic actor. So he's very theatrical. I love it. I also love theater. I love performances. I love that. I love like operas and music and stuff too. Like that's just like I love all these little things. I love all these things. Like I love bits and pieces, but like for Star Trek, for instance, I I am around this area of what I grew up with or enjoy, and I'm meeting people sometimes that they're such sticklers for it. Like, I've been around since the beginning, since the first episode of TOS, and I saw that on TV. I'm like, okay, great. Like, okay. Um, that's fine, but you don't have to put anyone down for it if they see it a little differently than you do. Um, Star Trek has a lot of meaning behind it. I definitely learned a lot about not just exploring, not just going places, but treating others with respect, about learning how to that sometimes there are some moral issues that we need to take a closer look at. And there was a lot of intelligence, a lot of depth to that show. I mean, you could say the same for Supernatural. Like Supernatural, I definitely love, because and I like the fandom of Supernatural because I haven't met a single crazy obsessed fan of Supernatural yet. Um, that has gone like overboard or freaked out on Supernatural. I mean, like a lot of people were upset that it ended at season 15. But at the same time, they're understanding and they're very supportive of the creators, the actors, all of them. Like they were very supportive of them, and they're like, yeah, we may not have liked this or that season or this or that episode or whatever, but at the same time, we're still super supportive. And so I actually really like anytime I talk to another fan of Supernatural, I get excited because we have this mutual love and support of everyone involved and each other that I don't find very often in other fandoms, I guess. And you could argue that maybe it's just you're not reading the right, meeting the right fans or whatever, but it just, I've met some decent people and I've met some not so decent people like at conventions or just in general when it comes to fandoms. But I feel like this can apply to Star Wars as well. I've met people who are super obnoxious about like, well, if this blah 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 blah, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, please just enjoy it, please. Here's another example. I absolutely love La Belle et la Bête, Beauty and the Beast. I know I mispronounced it, okay? I'm not French and I can't speak French, okay? I get it. Anyway, talking about the original, written in 1740. Villeneuve. My mind is blanking. Like, this is my favorite. Like, I absolutely love the original Beauty and the Beast as like that in 1740. The Beaumont one, it was actually written in like 56, so like 16 years later, as a rewrite and to make it like slightly more palpable for like a younger audience. I don't know. But either way, a lot of people kind of refer to the Beaumont version instead of the Villeneuve version, and I love the original. Love it so much. Like I mean, I really love Beauty and the Beast. Everything Beauty and the Beast. Because the original English translated version is what my mom read to me all the time. So it has a deep meaning for me, a very deep meaning for me, because that was the first and last fairy tale that my mom ever read to me before all the mental illness, before all the bad stuff happened as a kid or started to happen when I was a kid. Like, that was the last time I felt like she was my mom. So there is some very personal, deep meaning behind me loving Beauty and the Beast, the first version, the first French version from 1740. But I absolutely love other variations of the story. I love seeing like rewrites and new renditions and like twists on the fairy tale. Like I love it. Now, there are some that I don't like as much as others, but I love that someone is doing their own variation of it. I love it so much because I feel like we're keeping the story alive by putting our own spin on it. And yes, there's that basis. I mean, it's not just Beauty and the Beast. I mean, there's Lock and Psy, and there's like, you could even argue like Persephone, like or Hades. Like, there's different stories throughout history that have very similar kind of elements, but like a beastly guy and like a semi princess or soon to be princess type, a heroine or whatever, or like a female warrior or like a scholar, and she kind of turns him around. It's Phantom of the Opera, definitely. Like, which I also love. Definitely love the musical of. It's one of my favorites. I really want to see it one day in person. But it has like personal meaning to me. Like, it's severely personal. but I still enjoy other versions of it. I still enjoy that people take that and they do their own thing with it. And I don't get super upset about it. Like, I don't know, maybe it's just because I'm the type of person where even if it's not something that I would, enjoy, or it's not something, someone's getting married, I want to congratulate him. Like, yeah, my marriage ended horribly because he was really abusive and awful. But that was my story. That's not someone else's story. So if someone's getting married or someone's, having kids or whatever, like, I congratulate them. I'm happy for them. Like, I think maybe it's just because I'm that kind of person that's just happy for people or just happy in general. Even if it's not the original story, I still love it. Even if it's not exactly what I would have done with something, I still like it. Even if I'm not the biggest fan of most of the continuity when it comes to New 52, I'm still going to enjoy this. I'm still going to try it out. I'm still going to keep it because this is what my kid picked out for me. So I'm going to do that, and I mean, it's a graphic novel. Like, I love graphic novels. So maybe part of that attitude that I have is because I dabble and I'm not like super entrenched in one particular thing. I like little bits of everything. Most everything. There are some things that I'm not the biggest fan of, but I don't begrudge it existing, such as I'm not the biggest fan of country music or rap or hip hop. I like some songs or artists that have elements of that, but straight up country or rap, like, not my thing. But I think it's pretty essential that it exists, actually. I think it's really good as a genre. I mean, it's just not my thing, but it's pretty awesome that it exists. There's so many things out there that may not be my style or my taste, but I'm glad it exists. I'm glad that there's this variety, this this versatile world that has so many new things that, who knows, maybe I'll like in 10 years that I don't like now. I still do that with food. I still try something that I may not have liked 10 years ago, but I try it now and say, maybe I'll like it, maybe I won't. When I was younger, hated calamari. Could not stand it. Could not. Took me a few tries to even get into sushi. Now I absolutely love sushi. And now, like, 10-ish years, actually, well, closer to 12-ish years after the last time I tried calamari, I kind of like it. I mean, it would be nice if it's done correctly and actually, like, cooked properly, but still, I try things again and again just to see. Not because I'm like, oh, maybe this time, like, like, like the kid that doesn't like something but keeps trying it anyway. No, it's not quite like that. For me, I feel like it's something that maybe I might want to like, but I'm not sure if I will. I have given up on some things after trying. I'm not going to talk about those, but like, it's like after trying a few times, I just, nope, I'm not going to keep trying. Example, Nutella. I don't know why. I just cannot stand it. Cannot stand it. I don't know what it is. It's just disgusting to me. But yeah, I've noticed that about myself. I may not have a New Year's resolution, but I noticed that about myself as I'm kind of more of a jack of all trades kind of person, because I dabble or like lots of stuff, but I don't go hardcore into any one thing. I think maybe not just my semi-positive attitude. I say semi because if you know me, I'm definitely not positive all the time. I don't think I'd want to be. I don't think I could handle being positive all the time. That would be exhausting. But I definitely think that part of it's that personality where it's like, because I'm not so in the weeds with it, I'm able to appreciate it for what it is. I'm able to see that I might critique something, or I might like, I don't know if I would have done it that way, but I can still appreciate what it is. I can still appreciate the effort that's been put into it. Harry Potter movies. Obviously, a lot of people are really upset about Harry Potter movies, about how much something differed from the books. And me, I'm just like, yeah, I would have liked this or that. I would have preferred them not to do a longer scene in this area versus this, because they could have put more time towards that, which was much longer in the books. I'm talking, of course, The Prisoner of Azkaban. I think everyone here would agree. But because I mean that bus scene was way too long. Like, later in the movie, there are a few other scenes that could have added a little more context, but they put all the extra time into that bus scene that did not need to happen. There's my critique. But I still really enjoyed the movie. I still really enjoyed a lot the movie. Like, I was super excited about it. I mean, I got a freaking, like, Harry Potter tattoo. Like, yeah. And mind you, as a side note, real quick, I don't agree with Rowling with how transphobic she is. I mean, I have a good friend from college who's trans, and my nephew, like one of my closest friends, her son is trans, and like, I mean, I have family and friends in that community in general, the LGBTQ plus. Let's just say that, because there are a lot of letters now, and I'm still trying to figure things out. I'm definitely an ally. I definitely support them. So, I mean, I do not like the way that she's been speaking. But I'm able to distance from her. Like, I recognize that she may have created these books, but she is not those books, not entirely. Like, she's a separate human being. Like, she created this world, yes, but that doesn't mean that she gets to taint it. I will not let her taint it. I think that's the other thing, is that there are people who become so entrenched in whatever their specialty is, or whatever fandom, they're really into, that they associate everything with like that one person or one actor or whatever, and they don't see the whole picture. They don't see how everything fits together. And that makes me sad, because no matter what I do, no matter what anyone does, J.K. Rowling's going to be rich. She is. Like, it doesn't matter. But there are other people involved with the franchise, other people involved with, like, the actors, like the production, like all those people that put all that effort into the movies. Like, that's a big deal. That's most of those kids' lives. Like, we grew up with them. Like, they're adults now. Some of them have kids. Like, it's insane. So yes, she may have created that story. She may have written those books, but the world of Harry Potter isn't just J.K. Rowling. It's all encompassing for all the people involved. So I can separate the creator from the product. I can do that. I can enjoy a movie and a certain character and not like the actor. Be like, I may not like them as a person, but I enjoy what they did with this movie and this character. So, I mean, I don't know, maybe it helps I can separate things like that, and that I'm not like a full hardcore person about any one thing, but I've noticed that. I've noticed that about myself, and I think that's very important. It's very important to kind of see that distinction, because I think some people get a bit too close when it comes to that, and don't actually enjoy, what it is that, they set out to enjoy. Because they get so caught up in all the technicalities, or all the little mistakes. As I said, like, I've met some people who get so finicky when it comes to Star Trek or Star Wars. Like I was there when, okay, great, you were there. It doesn't belong to just you. It belongs to others. It belongs to everyone. In the sense that you may have seen it that way, but for someone else, it's a little different. So maybe don't be so obnoxious about it. Like, maybe don't tear other people down. Because I've had that before where I enjoyed some of the, some parts of the new movies, the new Star Wars movies, or the new Star Trek movies. And some people were so rude about it. They were just like, how can you like how can you like this one? Blah 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 happened. I'm just like, dude, I'm just enjoying it for what it is, okay? Yeah, I mean, if we're gonna go on continuity, we're gonna go by story or plot or whatever, maybe this could have been different. Could have been better. But overall, I really enjoyed it. I really liked it. A lot of effort went into this. I mean, okay, sometimes I will be like Henry Cavill and I will want something to be closer to the source material, yes, because he's really big on Witcher, and I haven't read the Witcher books yet. I actually did plan on it eventually. I couldn't really get into the game itself. But the story sounded awesome, so I wanted to try it at some point. So I'm sure that if I read the book like a lot of other people, same as Harry Potter, like there would be some things that I'd be critiquing. And it's nice to know though that someone who is like straight involved with the project would be like, I want it to be closer to source material. Thank you, Henry. Thank you. Because because I like seeing that. I like it when someone wants it to be closer to the source material. But I will still enjoy it. So I'm sure that eventually when I get down to reading the books, I may find issue with the first and second season in some areas, same as a lot of other people. But overall, I still enjoyed it. I still really liked first and second season. So I think that way about a lot of things, though. So I felt like it was necessary. I know it's long. I'm sorry this video is long, but I felt that was necessary to kind of really get that all off my chest because I think it's nice to notice things about your life, about your personality, about your growth. And I try to do this as often as possible because I want to see where I've been, where I might go. I want to see if I've done better in some areas. It's not just like a New Year's resolution type of thing. I will do better about this. No, this is an ongoing project forever and ever and ever. It has nothing to do with New Year's. It has to do with me as a human being and trying to adapt and grow and become better in many different ways. But essentially, I'm trying to also become more whole. I'm trying to love myself more, take care of myself more, recognize my limits and if they are things that I should try to push past, or should I set the boundaries right there at that limit. How do I coordinate with my sons who are their own persons, and the sass factor on my almost 4-year-old, holy cow, oh my gosh, like he's so it's like a teenage girl. All right, like seriously, he is obnoxious. He's so obnoxious. He's like such an entitled little brat. Oh my gosh, like, and I don't spoil him rotten. Not like I don't just hand him things and be like, "Oh, here you go," or "Oh, you poor baby, you're crying about this." Most of the time, I'm just like, "Why are you crying? Why are you wasting my time? Like, what, are you bleeding? No. Did you bump your head? No. Okay." Because if we've had, me and Alan have suffered concussions. Okay, like Connor, hitting the head would be bad. So be like, did you hit your head? No. Okay, well then, why are you crying? Like, what, brother? I don't want to hear it. Go talk to him. Figure out a communication between him. Work as a team. You work together. You're talking to each other. You're finding the same ideas or even different ideas, but you're respecting each other. Like, I'm just like, go, figure it out. Do not bother mommy. Figure it out. Like he seems to think that he is spoiled or something. It makes me wonder how spoiled he is at daycare, because they're like, oh, he's an angel. I was like, really? Do you just cave to him or something? Because I don't cave at home. Don't at all. But yeah, trying to figure out how do I grow and also grow with my kids who are their own people as they grow? Like, it's trying to coordinate and get along and figure things out with two completely developed human beings that, and I don't mean completely as in they're done growing, but I mean they are developed human beings and they're their own persons, their own personality, their own taste, their own style, their own everything. And while most of the time I see a lot of me in them, like they're my mini me's, they're also very much their own person. And it's just like, how do I figure this out? How do I parent with them changing all the time? It's ridiculous. So I like to look at this stuff, and the jack of all trades thing is something that I've noticed that I dabble in a lot of things. I dabble very little in a lot of things. Well, I wouldn't say very little, but I don't go hardcore. And yeah, I'd like to finish projects a bit better in the future, but mostly I like that I am all over the place. I like that I can enjoy it for what it is and not become too much of a stickler about it. Not not obsess over it. Um Enjoy it for what it is, see the bigger picture, and be happy for its existence, for people enjoying something. I had to switch. My hand is going numb. um but I noticed that, and I think it's finding a piece of myself that I didn't really realize I had. Um because I've kind of always been this way. I've kind of always been into lots of different things, and you could never fully pinpoint anything with me. Even when it came to figuring out what I would do in life eventually. Um I mean, my dad tried to figure out, he wanted me to follow in his footsteps, and that didn't happen. Um I mean, in some cases, yes, when it came to the Navy, but in some cases, no, because our rating was definitely different, and how we handled our time in, how long we were in, lots of different factors. I mean, we're different people, but still, it's people tried to determine what I was going to be, what I was going to do when I grew up, and I'm just like, I still don't know. There's still a lot of things that I want to do and I want to do better, but there's so much that I couldn't really stay in one place. I kind of have a little bit of wanderlust. I definitely enjoy exploring and traveling and moving around and doing stuff. Now, I enjoy having a place that where we're settled and we have a stable environment. That I like, but learning and growing and just traveling and finding things out, researching and just learning things is just, I think it's kind of a part of who I am, and I think that's why a lot of people couldn't really pin me down, couldn't really say, "Yep, this is exactly it." And I'm kind of seeing that in Alan a bit, and I think recognizing that in myself kind of helps me recognize some of that in him and how his is different than mine. And I think the biggest part of this as well is accepting that part of me, is accepting that I'm kind of a jack of all trades in my fandom or in my interests, in my personality. Like, I'm kind of all over the place with a lot of stuff. And in some cases it might mean that you're kind of pulled all over. And in my case, yeah, it feels like I can never really finish one thing. I'm always struggling. If I focus on one thing, I'm really good at it. Like schoolwork if I focus on school, or if I focus on a project, if I focus on whatever it is that's put in front of me, I'm really good at it. I make sure that I'm good at it. And not just the whole, like, trying to be perfectionist thing. No, perfection is a myth. Um, but because I want it to be good, I want it to be lasting, I want quality over quantity. So I will put my effort in, I will become good at whatever I need to become good at, and then do well. So if I'm focused on something, I get things done. So it can be a little frustrating if I'm a jack of all trades in anything, especially personality wise, because I can be kind of all over. So it kind of forces you to uh to multitask on some crazy levels at times. Um but I used to kind of think of myself as think of it as more of a detriment instead of an asset. And I think recognizing my jack of all trades with fandom and seeing it in other aspects of my life, um I'm not as upset with myself as I used to be. I I think I think I'm okay with it now versus being frustrated. Um I can see it as an opportunity to do better at multitasking, do better at prioritizing, and doing better at finding out what it is that I want to keep and what it is I want to discard as far as um things in my life that I've put focus on or interest in general. Because maybe there are certain things that certain projects or certain things I've collected over time, like certain things that I may not have like quite obsessed at, but really been interested in. Maybe I need to get rid of some of that stuff, kind of declutter, So I see this as an opportunity and a welcome challenge that I'm all over the place. There are some ways that I can organize a bit better. Um, but it's not the worst thing in the world. I used to think so without really pinpointing exactly what it is that I was so upset about or I didn't like about myself. But I think this definitely is a good light bulb moment to have. Um, and this also helps me with Alan. As I said, I've recognized some of the same stuff with him. And he's kind of all over the place. I mean, I've been told in the past that I may have ADHD, but I never was properly diagnosed. So maybe I can actually get myself properly diagnosed. And then maybe there are some tools or tips of the trade where I can, do better with that organizing, better with that multitasking. And if I can find ways that help me while I'm also trying to find ways to help him, because I mean, I've kind of been thrust in this world where trying to learn how to adapt and coordinate with my kiddo who has ADHD, who sees the world different than a lot of other people, that operates kind of on a different frequency. He's smart, he really is. He sees things that other people may not see, that people miss all the time. um I can't have my arm for very long, but anyway, uh yeah, it takes some getting used to it. It takes some patience and some effort because you're trying to figure this out. You're trying to navigate in a place that just doesn't seem very familiar. But I think that working on myself might help me work with him too. I'm learning at his speed, at his pace, and I'm working with his school and saying, okay, what works with you? Maybe I can try that at home. Or they mention like, hey, he was doing this or that. Is everything okay at home? Like, okay, this happened, and they're like, okay, now we know. And so I do talk a lot with his school. Like his new school is amazing. I love it because they're actually like talking to me. We're actually communicating and figuring out what is best and what helps Alan best. Um, but if I can do that with myself too, I think I might have a better perspective on kind of how he is and figuring out, okay, this worked for me. It may not work for you, but maybe I know where to start on finding something that works for you. Okay, let's try this. Trial and error will figure out what works for you. And I think that the most important part is accepting that and liking that about myself. Because it's not just me. Everything rolls downhill. Alan is going to see that. And he's going to I'm going to try to lead by example, that I may not like every aspect of myself all the time. But I do see this. I accept it. I like it. And I think that there are some positive things about it. Can there be work done? Yeah. Progress can happen. I think it should happen. Can I do better? Yeah. But it's not the worst thing in the world. And I think I have a more positive outlook, a happier outlook, because I'm not so encased in something, so stuck, straight. This is it. I am all over the place. So I see things from all sorts of different perspectives, and then I put it all together for the big picture. So anyway, this long ass video, that's my take on all that. Lots to do with it. It's probably more in depth than I really needed to be. Again, I don't have video editing anything, so this is all straight up me talking for like an hour. One of these days I will have one of those video things where I can cut and paste and, cut things the way it should be so that it's a bit shorter. So this hour video could be like 40 minutes instead or something. I don't know. Anyway, I've been trying a lot of the side braids recently. Kind of like it. I'm enjoying it because, well, I put everything to the side to my right side, and so I'm kind of liking the side braid thing because my hair is long enough for it. Yay! I like having long hair. It's lots of fun because I can do things with it. And it's wintertime, it's freezing, so having hair and then the scarf. And by the way, just before I leave, I've been rewatching Beauty and the Beast, the 1987-ish, the one with the Laurel Hamilton and Ron Perlman, which I enjoyed watching reruns of when I was a kid. Rewatching it, there are some things that I definitely critique about it because I'm just like, like, if you know, you know. Anyway, they're supposed to be like in New York, right? And it seems to always be blustery winds because they're always blowing her hair. And you never see winter or snow. I was like, I don't know if maybe it was just super mild in the 80s and they never saw snow or something. But every freaking scene, when I see someone with a scarf, they don't ever have it wrapped around like a scarf is supposed to. They always have it hanging down like it's stylish. I'm just like, scarves have a purpose, people. They're not for your fashion, okay? Functional scarves are not there to make you look debonair, okay? They're literally there to wrap around and keep you warm. It's just this thing, this little thing that I can't stand. I cannot stand it. Whether it's that series or any other series, but that one, it's every single episode. There's a wind from somewhere blowing her hair majestically behind her, and there's always a freaking scarf that's just hanging there doing nothing. And some of them are really thick scarves, like you can tell, like they're really thick, like wool or something, like super thick scarves where if you wrap that around your neck, oh, you're gonna be warm. But no, they're just hanging there. I don't know how to explain the angst that I'm feeling in my soul because of this. I don't know how to say it. I just, it bugs me so much. Like, Frustrating. Okay. I have tortured you long enough if you have viewed this video, which I doubt anyone will because, well, long. But, yeah. I don't know when I'll do another video. Or what I'll talk about, because most of the stuff that's been happening has been around the mill. Just what I said in the beginning has been very blah for the last month. But anyway, I didn't do any Christmas photos with the kids this year. I'm gonna try tomorrow. I'm gonna try to do some laundry and get them back in their pajamas because they got new pajamas this year. I mean, they both grew, so they grew 2 inches in 6 months. Yeah. I'm 5'4", just straight up 64 inches, and already Alan is almost 50 inches. He's 8 years old. Connor is just shy of 40 inches, and he's not even 4. Yeah. It's... These kids, I swear. Like, I remember the day I finally got to 4'9" in freaking like 6th grade. Okay. I was super happy that I finally got to 4'9". Okay. I was almost 12 and I was so short compared to everyone else. Everyone was a behemoth. And my kids are like, why'd I have to be the short one in my family? I swear. Why? Why? Like, damn it. Okay. They're also eating more. A lot more. I'm just like, wow. I don't even want to think about when they're going to be teenagers. I don't want to think about that. I don't want to imagine the amount of food that they're going to go through when they're teenagers. You want to see my motivation for getting a higher paying job? That's right there. They're going to literally eat me out of house and home. They're growing. Yeah. If I want them big and strong so they can actually carry things for me, then they need to eat, which means I need to make more money. So, that's not really the reason why, but I mean, it makes a compelling argument. Okay, so, until next time, whenever that may be, if it may be, see you guys.